But before anything begins, I want to thank a couple people who were really helpful in putting this whole thing together. Well, a lot of them are listening to your programs, but I want to name a couple who are and who aren't. First of all, without Christy Shapiro's link to her lovely husband Barry, who's somewhere over here, I don't know. This location would not have been possible. We were going to do it in one other location right now, but that didn't work out, and that's Shanghai. So Barry, he was very instrumental in this happening. So thank you very much, Barry, and everybody for thanking me. And James, who is a recent what's the word? Addition? And I'm a writer. A recent addition to Shanghai. She's going to be doing some wonderful work very soon. You can catch it June 17th, and it's actually going to be aside from this, my farewell, I guess, acting performance. So if you're interested, you can see Ms. Ann James after the show. She's this lovely lady who's right here in the red. She contributed in a great way, and she contributed actually to basically my decision to go to school. And I can also thank, where's that other guy? Gunnar, my friend Gunnar, he contributed a little bit to all the, offsetting some of the costs. And finally, I'd like to thank also Mr. Barry, who was very helpful. But in the end, there's one guy who really helped pull things together with financially speaking. He's a really good guy. He's a great friend of mine, and his name is Daniel Kohler. He's sitting right here. It's amazing because I'm from New York and he's from California, and we get along very well. So I just wanted to present him with something special before Sons of Liberty gets started. I want to give him something. Now, you're not allowed to read it during the show. But we print. Sorry. He's got a broken hand, and that's the one he uses to drink. He's a good guy. The working script that we use, my actual script that I was using for a lot of the rehearsals and whatnot, we signed it, so that's something for you. It gets better.
Hey, I can tell that for a long time.
Maybe you've seen some of the promotional images, and this is one of them. This is the full cast of the show that you're going to see tonight, and so that's a little something for you. This is something new, man. This is something new that came after Sons of Liberty. And while Sons is about a certain kind of whistleblower, I'd like to introduce you to another whistleblower. So before Sons of Liberty begins, I'd like to give you a taste of something new. Something that has a little bit more polish to it. And I call it the Lifeguard. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to use it. Listen to that other string.
gentle pride, crying my tears. We are just flesh and blood, but we are our choices. We are living memories, just driving through. I've got distractions above me, below me. I've got distractions pushing me, pulling me.
To you, my new friend. Hot as hell lately, huh? Yeah, it's been an oven this year. You look like you like the bat in the sun. I can see it. And you blew up, obviously. Feels good, right? I mean, it feels good to protect yourself, not the living part. Well, it might, right? Just kidding. Because the last thing you actually want is some sort of a nasty lobster action. Nasty stuff. I hate that. Don't you? Nasty? Such a stupid word. Lots of bad stuff around, but nasty? It sounds cute almost, like, oh, look, little Lasky just learned how to walk. Oh! Not really all that cute though. Those little sea urchins that just learn how to walk, they also intuitively knew how to mess up their diapers. But it's really amazing though, how many people just lay out in the sun and let themselves bake, like they're wanting to get cancer or something. Then there's those that pay to get cancer. In those salons, those are the ovens. Fuck, man. You see this? You know what I mean though, right? Millions of people cooked to a crisp against their will, and now there's an industry that's built around cooking people to some sort of a golden perfection. And then they charge them. And then they get cancer. My mom had to go through that last year. I'm not sure if it's because she smoked when she was younger, or because we went to the beach every summer. Or maybe just because, as she says, shit happens. She also tells me things happen for a reason. My new motto, shit happens for a reason. And I'm trying to believe it does. I really am. Sometimes though. But it's nice to meet someone who appreciates the risks and does something about it. Definitely a risky business. This place is alright. I never really come out this far because, well, it's so far from home. But new places, new faces, all good. This is an import. I'm not sure how to say it though. I can read the letters on the tap, something like to sing Tao or something. Pretty good. Got a big boat-looking thing on the I'm so chatty today, but I guess it's been a rough day, you know? I hate taking over conversations, but I just sat down and... Sorry. Is it okay if I just ramble for a little bit? This really isn't the summer color per se. No. Summer's color, well, it can't be just one color. It's gotta be fire. Everything flares up in the summer. That rocket's red glare observance. It's just an excuse to make some color and noise. Don't like fireworks though. Too many lost little hands and fingers. Because mom and dad were too busy with the grill. But there's a lot of noise these few months. People screaming on roller coasters, guitars screeching around the country, kids running around all day, jumping off diving boards, playing in the sun, whistles blowing, telling them to quit horsing around. And then there's sleeping under the stars. If you're lucky enough to have a bottle of something, some dogs and burgers, you know? This color though. Not really a color, is it? Everything just disappears in it. I'm not a black and white person. Well, I don't think I am. Some people though. Some people are just black and white. I mean, there's right and there's wrong, right? There's things that you can do and things that you can't, and that's normal, and we all agree on that. This color though. I don't usually wear black. Then again, I don't usually find myself in church on a Sunday. Or at a, well, that's where I was before. At a service, you know? That kind of thing doesn't really do much of a service for anyone, does it? I mean, you get a bunch of mourners together and they're all crying and heartbroken, and the priest didn't really do much to inject any humanity into it. Although, my family's funerals, the rabbi didn't do a whole lot either. Maybe it's an I'm doing God's work kind of thing that I just don't understand. You see, at a Jewish funeral, it's not a casket, it's just this plain wooden box, and the body lies there, in the box. You go into a small room and you have your moment. And then you head off to the cemetery without talking all that much. Oh, you talk about sports mostly. Not really follow sports. Like Knicks versus the Lakers. Who the fuck cares about rebounds and free throws when your grandma just died and you hardly knew her and you have a geometry test on Monday? So you get to the cemetery, and the rabbi says his piece. You say the Kaddish, which is this prayer you learned in Sunday school for the dead. And then the box goes into the ground, and you head off to eat some bagels. And on the way there, among the stories of how great of a woman she was, you find out how much your family members actually hate each other because of the way they treated her when she was alive. It's different, though, when someone's so young. Someone you saw just the other day. I've never been to a Catholic service before, but I hear from other people that open caskets are the norm. Not today. And that was the first thing that reminded me about the way that we do things. And then there's the words and the prayers, the procession and the lowering into the ground. All very similar. The biggest difference was that the conversation was about the Dodgers versus the Yankees. Everyone went off to visit one of their houses, and I just got out of there. Fuck. I used to love summers. No real responsibility, nothing really mattered. All you had to do was have fun. I blame work for ruining it. 5 years I've been a lifeguard now. 5 days a week, 8:45 I punch in, 4:45 I'm out. Have my lunch all nicely packed and labeled. Because the fridge in the guard room gets pretty full, and all of the guards, 12 of us on any given day, 15 on special weekends, we all try to avoid coveting, you know? I mean, accidental coveting is alright, but you label it and that solves that. Intentional coveting, though, that's not so cool. And that's happened way too often. Maybe it'll happen a lot less now. But the job is, I don't want to use the word boring because we're not allowed to get bored. We have to really see what's happening there in the water. We're like, I'm not religious. I mean, well, not really anyway. But we are up there, looking down on all the little happenings in the water and out of the water. And then in a split second, we're coming down to earth, blowing our whistle, cutting through the water, and just trying not to fuck things up. My mom used to be a lifeguard. And my dad saved me from drowning once. As he tells the story, it was like the hand of God coming down to rescue the firstborn son. I just walked into the pool. I was trying to get some toy cars that got away from me. My little daredevils. Red, blue, green, orange. And I remember reaching for them, not quite being able to get them. And then I just tasted the water, just for a second. And then, whoosh! I was scooped right out. Nothing I would think of, right? Thanks, God. Glad to know you're taking care of me. I had my turn too. Some muscly kid from the city that was visiting a few of his friends. And I was stationed at the low boards. We have two, high and low. And it takes quite a ways to swim out to this huge cement platform. And he was struggling getting out there a little bit. But he made it with his friends who had absolutely no problems. And I was watching him from the very first moment he jumped in. And he seemed to be doing all right. But then his friends jumped into the water. And he stutter-stepped a few times, like he wasn't so sure. So he jumps in, swims over to his friends, and almost gets there. And then just starts having trouble. So his friends turn around and swim over to him to try and help him. But when they get there, he grabs them around the necks, and now it's their heads going under. I blew my whistle, jumped down, dove in, was there maybe 6 seconds flat, wrestled him off the other two, and got that big 4-inch buoy under him. He calmed down as I paddled us both in. We got to the shallows and walked in the rest of the way. He was fine. I was absolutely shaking. And it was a sloppy mistake. I know. I didn't react fast enough. I didn't blow the whistle loud enough. And well, I didn't get the buoy under him properly, but I rescued him, and maybe even his friends. So that's what the job is like. Busy days, quiet days, it's life or death, every day. None of that David Hasselhoff and Pam Anderson crap from the 90s. I saved a life. One could even argue 3 lives. But the uniform's all right, nothing special. White shirt, red shorts, whistle on a rope. It's funny. Every lifeguard eventually does this motion, turning the whistle around. It's like the stay alert signal because, well, it does get hot up there, even in the shade of our big umbrellas up on the chairs. And, well, in the summer there's guard parties where there's a lot of this going on. Not everyone gets the right amount of sleep, and that could be a problem. I mean, it seems some guards just make it a point to show up hungover and bleary-eyed, knowing that they have to do the same rotation that everyone else does. It's half an hour at each station. On busy days, it's 5 or 6 stations. Quiet days, it's 3 stations, but that's the absolute minimum. And then some guards like to play the magic spot game. See, there's this big board, and with all of our names on it. And one of the senior guards, I mean, it's supposed to be the manager or the assistant manager, but really it's whoever shows up first. So they put our names in the order that they want. And the trick is to be in that magic spot where you get less rotations and you get off later in the day when there's hardly anyone in the water. The management wants to see us working, even if there is more guards up there than swimmers and tanners. But if you're not friends with the person making that order, you get the shit smell. Or if you happen to have said something about someone and got around to the person making the order, you get the shit smell. Or if you just do your job, mind your own business, try to make sure that none of the visitors get into trouble, and don't try to become best friends with everyone or goof around like some of the asshole guards do, you're guaranteed the shit spot. I never understood why it is that people that screw around get treated like they're special or something. How's your drink? You want another one? No? Yeah? Did you drive here? Better stick to just the one. I got my POS 1994 outside. Not a good year for cars. The thing gets me around, and, well, sometimes it takes longer than I would want it to. Things in my price range, too, and I can't really do much about that. Even after 5 years. It's funny, though. There's this one guy at work, younger than me, worked less seasons than I did. That black car of his. All souped up with those, what do you call them, spoilers? I know they're supposed to cut down on wind resistance or whatever. I don't really know cars. But they also serve as a statement, right? Like, look at me. I can afford 2 huge exhaust pipes and to make my car look like MacGyver's ride. Loud car for loud people. Not MacGyver. No, it's the car from that other Hasselhoff show. The, damn, what was it? I know it. He'll come back to me probably tomorrow sometime. Anyway, this guy's from work, the way that engine kicks, just really kicks. Like some sort of a wild animal. And when he hits those turns, it's just something to see. Dangerous as hell, though. I mean, reckless, really. I wouldn't say that if it was some competent driver behind the wheel, but this guy, his name doesn't matter. Let's call him Asshole. Asshole just speeds on past the guard gate where everyone else has to check in, but the guard lady thinks he's cute, so she lets him get away with it. Past the guard gate, he speeds around all the speed bumps in the parking lot because there really is enough room there for that, especially on a busy day. Whips around the corner and goes to the farthest parking spot so his car doesn't get scratched up, or one of the kids don't bounce their rubber balls on it. I swear, more than once, I've seen him almost hit someone. And then when he leaves, same thing, just zooms around the corners on his way out. But that's asshole. He's so cute that he couldn't possibly harm anyone. During his break times, he goes out and hangs out with his car, blasting the stereo, making sure everyone and their mother can hear the top 40s hits. The manager comes out and tells him to turn it down. And he does, but then the next day, he does the same thing. The manager comes out and tells him the same thing. Over and over and over again. 2 summers of this shit. And he's an idiot! He couldn't figure out how to make popcorn. And yet, this pest gets the car. And the attention. And you see, there's this girl at work. I mean, there's lots of girls at work, but she's just a really nice girl. Lunch buddies sometimes, me and her. You know, put him up on the chair. The whole reason that he's there, up at the boards, well, I'm telling a dozen kids not to bounce on the board more than twice. He hops the line and jumps, and jumps, and jumps some more. Into the water and out, walking out with this huge shit-eating grin. That was so nasty. It's warm in here. Wish they'd play some decent music too. I really believe that music affects the temperature of a place. They were playing this music, this lady named Fitzgerald at the burial. Request of the family. Are you a music fan? I play guitar for a while now. Taught myself. Even made up a few simple songs. I love rock and roll. I mean, I can never make up anything that sounds like rock and roll, but they don't sound bad, you know? Bought the guitar this summer. This beautiful acoustic electric Ibanez with a sunburst finish. My piece of shit 1994 versus this beautiful instrument. No contest. Started bringing it to work a few times just for fun. Well, there's this talent show, the staff talent show that was happening, and I figured I'd bring it in and practice on my break times, really show everyone that I could play, but I didn't make a big show out of it or anything. I just walk off by myself into the corner and play. Then there's this other guy at work, really cool guy, really knows how to play. So I let him pick it up a few times. He showed me a few things, and that was really cool. Gave me some ideas, and I would have really liked to have more lesson time with him, but he's a part-timer. You know, 2:30 punch out, have the next few days off. Then, asshole wanted to play. I've seen him eyeing the thing as soon as I brought it in. He even picked up the case once, and this is not a cheap guitar, so I yelled at him to put it down. And he did. But I could only ever talk to him like one of those kids that jumps on the boards too much. And like any bad kid, he decided not to listen as soon as I was out of view. I just know he messed with it one day when I was up on the chair. I get off and we didn't get along. I mean, I made that clear to him more than once. I go over and open my case, and there it is. Broken E string and a nice big chip in the finish. I go off and find him talking to my lunch buddy, and I just let him have it for everything over the last 2 years. The way that he acted on duty, the way he undermined everyone's authority, the way he drove around the parking lot and coveted things that weren't his. He didn't have anything to say. Like, he was Mr. Innocent. And then my lunch buddy looked at me with such disdain. She said, "Quit pointing your finger and grow a pair. It's a minor inconvenience." Minor inconvenience? That really dug into me. Everyone wanted to forgive this child, and he is a child. One just can't help himself. So, I went off to the guard room and steamed there for a bit. Everyone who would walk in just would see me and this one nice thing I had. They'd ask me what happened and I'd tell them my theory, but they wouldn't be able to say that he did it or not. And maybe they didn't want to. Whatever. I decided to cool off and go for a walk, because it really does get boiling in that room in the summer. And as I walk out past the beach, I see assholes sitting in chair one, not paying attention, as usual, just twirling his whistle. So I walk past him and keep going, stop kind of paying attention where I am. And then I get hit with this glare coming off the car. Or a spoiler. I walk over to Nasty One, very sleepy, like something out of a movie or TV show or something. I look it over, bumper to bumper. Just perfect. Asshole's little daredevil toy car. I had my keys with me, so I decided to make it a little less perfect. Then I started looking it over, thinking of other ways to make it a little imperfect. I looked at the antenna and the spoilers, the lights and the side view mirrors, the tires. Just something small, some little way to piss him off the way that he did to me. Something more than a minor inconvenience. Headed back to the guard room. Finished my last short rotation because I was in the shit spot, and then went home. The next day, we stayed away from each other because, and my old lunch buddy, she didn't really have anything to say to me either. But up on the chair, I kept looking at the car. It was weird. Every time I would look at it, it almost like my eyes blurred a bit. Maybe it was the heat coming off the pavement, but it was just eerie. That was a Saturday, and there was a big guard party that night out in the woods where no cops would ever go. And everyone always showed up to those things, even the part-timers. So I decided to go because I thought maybe my guitar teacher would be there and bring his guitar. On the way there, I had some car trouble though. Damn muffler really needs replacing. And I get there and I grab a beer and I look for my guitar teacher. And I see him with this really strange expression on his face. I walk up to him and before I can even say hi, he goes, "Hey man, bummer about your guitar." I say, "Yeah, asshole really did a number on it." And then he shuts me up with this wad of cash and says, "Hey, sorry dude, I didn't have any cash on me and I'm sorry, I feel bad about not even leaving a note, but I had some money problems lately and anyway, hope this helps." And just then, this girl behind me started howling like a wounded animal into a phone and everything stopped. But the way he drove, it was so reckless. The way he would speed, the way he would hit those turns, pushing it to the... It couldn't have mattered. There was just a little bit of air. It couldn't have made a difference. It all happens for a reason, right? These aren't mine. I don't know why I took them, but all the guards always keep their whistles in the lockers, and I volunteered to help clean them out. This one's has an E for it. This one. It's the only dark one there. He colored it in himself. Dark as night. Night Rider. That was the name of the Hasselhoff show. Night Rider. I once overheard You'd never say something like that.